That'd be bad. We just keep talking to ourselves.
We'll sound like we're all possessed.
Yeah. I mean, that's just about every other show, though, at this point. Oh, right. By the way, yeah, we're live now. Look at that. Look at that.
Oh!
Deadman Stone podcast. Actually, this is kind of a different old thing. This is Vampires versus the World. That's what this is.
Cool.
Very cool.
Look at this. I can play this intro real fast. Watch this. Mute us. Okay, yeah, I think that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, let's get into this. So it's Vampires versus the World. What is this? This is a charity stream. That's a live stream, charity live stream. Let's get some people here. That's what we need to do. We need to get some... for those that are tuning in, hopefully people start tuning in pretty soon. Let's see. So the idea here, we have Michael Vackmill.
Hello.
Hi, Michael.
Hi.
And then we, of course, we have Becky, the co-host.
Hello.
And it is Vampires versus the World, meaning that we're going to ask them all sorts of questions as if we're like, how can you be in this world, huh? How can you, some immortal bloodsucker, be in this world, right?
Right. I wish I was immortal. The amount of compounding interest I could make would be ungodly.
Oh, man.
I'd be so rich.
You would be. But wait, you're not immortal? Man, you gotta...
Unfortunately not. Real vampires are not immortal.
Oh, man.
Actually, a lot of the mystical vampires are not immortal either.
Huh.
Really?
I mean...
Yeah.
Do you still get cancer?
Unfortunately, yes.
Oh, man. That's... I don't know. It's not sounding like a good deal, though.
Sometimes it really isn't.
Oh, man. Well, by the way, everyone can ask questions. There's a link in the description box below. Click that link. Donate at least $1 to St. Jude, and you submit a question, and it'll be asked. You can ask them anything. I don't have any limit to it, you know. So you can ask them anything you want. What would you ask a vampire if you could? If you could. Okay. And that money goes to St. Jude. It goes to St. Jude to help kids with cancer, to help treat kids with cancer, to fight cancer. Because, you know, I have a problem with the idea of the kids, being, born with cancer. It's like, why? Like, why would Mother Nature, why would God do that? We got to fight that. We got to fix that system.
I agree.
Very much so.
Okay.
It's just horrible. I don't understand. It's bad enough when an adult gets it, but little kids?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's rough.
So we're going to be on a quest. We're going to be on a quest to fix this. We're going to be on a quest to fix this, guys, ladies. We're going to do this, but we need your help. We're going to need your help. Let's see.
I don't understand.
All right, now I know we have a donation already. We need to get some more. Take a look here. Keep an eye on the donations that come in. And Becky will keep an eye on the chat. And, of course, if they ask any questions in the chat,
yes,
we can regurgitate them that way. I'm fine with that as well. Okay.
Yes. And I want to know, what are you drinking today, Mr. Deadman?
Oh, I'm drinking moonshine.
Oh, my Lord.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Well, I figured that it's, this isn't like a cirrhosis of the liver. Whoa. How long have I been drinking moonshine? Cirrhosis of the river.
Oh my, you've been starting for a while, haven't we?
Well,
have you already been nipping it?
9 a.m. is 5 o'clock somewhere, right?
Oh yeah.
I mean, is that how that works?
Pretty much.
All right, so the shot cam is on. We're going to take a shot now. The shot cam's on. Okay.
Oh my.
Whoa, that's strong stuff too. Oh man,
Oh, nice shot.
it has a sweet tea flavor.
Ew.
It's called Dixie tea. And you know what? It kind of tastes like medicine. Oh, it does not taste good at all.
Yeah.
It tastes. I'd rather have like NyQuil than this.
Ew.
That's what it kind of tastes like. Tastes
Oh
like
no.
NyQuil.
Ew.
Tastes like NyQuil.
I am so
You should
sorry.
have gotten some apple pie moonshine or something.
Yeah.
At least it tastes a little better.
Speaking of which, we got a good question. So our first question is from, let's see, BB Blaskovich.
Ah. Okay.
You might have recognized the last name as the, I don't know if you play video games, but if you played Wolfenstein,
Yeah.
yeah, he's related. He's related to BJ Blazkowicz, the Nazi ass kicker. He's also a writer and was featured on the show before. So,
Oh, very cool.
all right. He asked, if drunkenness is measured by how much alcohol is in the bloodstream, would Ted Kennedy's blood taste like a shot of Jim Beam?
Ooh, I think Ted Kennedy's blood tasting like Jim Beam. I think it tastes a little bit worse.
Oh.
More like old and stale and reeking of privilege and murder.
Gee, before. Okay.
I'm sorry. Too soon.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Great.
Is energy affected by alcohol and other intoxicants within the body? Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, there you have it. So, I mean, if you were to drink my blood, I mean, it would what
It would taste like something worse than NyQuil right now. So, ew.
Oh man. Which I have to ask, because we crossed paths at the Scary Dads convention, and
Yeah.
I didn't stay for the any sort of vampire party, so I was like, man, I wish I could stay around for that, but I had to go and take care of some family things, some dad things.
Right.
But what was the vampire party like?
Oh, we didn't have an after party that day, but what is a vampire party like? Well, it depends on the vampires. If it's a private vampire party, it can get very adult very quickly. A lot of eating, a lot of drinking.
Like eating flesh and drinking blood?
Well, we do. Well, about the flesh that we're not cannibals, so the only flesh we consume is usually really good barbecue.
Oh.
Drinking blood. Well, if there's consenting adults that have been tested and everyone is safe, things like that have been known to happen on not too rare of an occasion.
Okay. Well, man, so it's not like a blade rave.
Those have happened in Eastern Europe.
Oh.
There have been some tourist companies that put together blood raves,
Ooh.
but they don't quite understand how blood works. So everyone is dancing, and then they hit the sprinklers, and then instead of this nice, warm, gooey substance, it's frozen, coagulated cow's blood hitting you in clumps.
Ew.
So instead of that night, so if you can imagine red, stringy, coagulated, spiderweb type blood being blown all over the place that is now starting to stink and rot. Yeah.
Man, that really kills the
It kills the illusion.
Yeah. Man.
Oh, it does. it kills the magic, it kills the illusion. But that's why you got to know what you're doing with blood, because it looks wonderful and it looks romantic. We sort of forget blood is liquid tissue, and blood wants to form tissue. That's how we sort of survive as a species. So if it sits around for a while, it will harden and gel and make that liquid little scabbly material that it was designed to do. So people trying to store it and then blow it out and make a nice blood rave made sort of like blood spaghetti snot all over their nice little people, and it wasn't a pretty sight.
Oh my Lord, that was a visual.
I can't believe this though, because one of the best things about Blade was the blood rave. I mean,
blood rave, yeah.
What you can do, you just have to. The best way to create a blood rave is quite literally a nice moonshine style high grain alcohol.
Okay.
In combination with theatrical dye.
Okay, so like this Dixie tea I'm drinking over here.
Exactly.
Okay.
So if you ever want to do a blood rave, vast volumes of alcohol with blood dyed, that way it's nice and it runs and it creates that nice little drippy staining effect.
Mm-hmm. All right. You know, because I
rewatched theatrics.
All right, I'll take this tip when I organize a blood rave. I gotta remember this. All right.
Yeah. You should have put red dye in your moonshine.
Oh, that would have been cool, huh?
Yeah.
Ooh, very much.
See, then you would have looked like you were drinking blood too.
Oh, look at that. Look at that. See, I didn't do that much planning. My planning for this was watching vampire movies.
Okay, now I want to know what vampire movies you watched, because you know,
well,
some are much better than others.
Well, I had to watch Blade, Blade and Blade 2.
Right.
I like those because you have Wesley Snipes kicking ass, and I don't know if you saw this, but I did a poll on the Facebook group page, Deadman Stone Facebook group page, where it was like Lestat versus Blade, and the question was, who's the better vampire? And somehow Blade won that, even though Blade isn't really a full vampire. He's just like, you know, half. But I think people were thinking, oh, he can kick more ass. That he's a better vampire.
Right.
He can kick more ass.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
I think Lestat will always be fantastic. The problem with Lestat, he's been so emulated with the romantic vampire, and the romantic vampire has been so overdone in every vampire ball, every vampire mask. Oh my God, so many of your CW specials now are just almost endless. Every vampire is a vampire Lestat, constantly bemoaning their lost mortality, constantly in love, or multiple love triangles. It's worse than it's horrible, some of the writing. So yeah, I can see people like, we love vampires, we're just on the Lestat romantic vampire burnout.
Yeah.
Too much of a thing. Too much of a good thing.
I could see that. And that was Interview with the Vampire was the other vampire movie I watched. That and Underworld? Yeah, Underworld. I watched that.
Yeah. Oh, now Underworld sort of like blended Blade in combination with Lestat. Yes, we're in love. Now hand me the Glock, sweetie.
Yes.
I love it.
But what it looked like at the end was like, I don't know, people were just like cosplaying as vampires with like Hot Topic gear. It's like, what
that was deliberate. No, that was actually deliberate. I'm about to show my age, but when Underworld first came out, before the White Wolf lawsuit, they had like fake newspaper printouts have vampires been revealed, and they had like all the munitions that they quote unquote captured from crime scenes. They had fake case histories. So Underworld produced this fake little newspaper that they had in front of the movie theaters about the realities of their vampire world. And one of the things that they were going to do was launch a clothing line to Hot Topic.
Okay.
So if you're wondering, doesn't this all like Hot Topic? Yeah, it was designed to be marketed and sold through Hot Topic way back before Hot Topic started to suck and went to become a t-shirt shop.
Wow, I didn't even know that. That's
yeah,
I
knowledge
didn't
right there.
either.
Wow. Okay, we need to get more donations. Hey Becky, let's see if we could reach out on
Yes,
Facebook
sir.
or something on Twitter. Try bringing them in. Let them know. This is for St. Jude,
All right.
guys. For
I'm
St.
on
Jude. Donate at least $1. Ask a question, any question to a real life vampire. Come on, this is not just a real life vampire, but the king of vampires. The king of vampires.
Justin Houston.
Okay, on Justin Houston.
But I do love the compliment. Thank you.
Well, you know, it's
Well,
deserved. It's deserved.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So I think I asked this last time, but how does one become king of the vampires? Like, are you elected?
I was elected. My court elected me. Group of people got together and decided, hey, you know what? It would really be cool if we just created a vampire court because one really didn't exist. And they said, well, hey, you're like the eldest. Why don't you run it? And I won the vote.
All right.
Cool.
Oh, now you won the vote without any tomfoolery involved. Like you didn't have anyone rig the election, any Russian bots. Or...
Well, okay. In all fairness, there was a lot of wine being consumed.
Okay.
And I was the one serving it, so vampire politics obviously have a lot of bribery going on.
Yeah, you got to bribe, right? You got to bribe the police and you got to bribe the police.
Right.
That's what I learned from Blade. You have the familiars. They call them familiars, right? You have the police involved, the nurses involved, the hospitals involved, all that stuff.
Oh, I wish.
Oh,
I really wish it was like the movies. I really wish we were all uber, these wealthy, powerful, fantastic individuals that just had unlimited funds and money. Unfortunately, we're just mostly like, hey, you know what? We're really hungry and nothing really satisfies that. Let's go to the human buffet table. I know that's a little crass, but that's about what it boils down to is we're really starving. Let's go eat. So we go to clubs and we go walking around in energy-rich areas and just enjoy.
all right. So just make sure though, in the vampire world and the politics, I mean, is it like Game of Thrones style? Like, you have some people who are challenging people, like.
Oh, always. There is so much vicious, ugly politics in the vampire community. Sometimes it just paralyzes people, and it's been going on forever. So it's nothing new. It's the internet has made everyone really brave. Well, I mean, when you can have a fake name. You don't have to put your butt on the line. It's real easy to sit there and rant and rave.
Yeah.
When there's no... Unfortunately, sometimes it does cross the line, but, that's what real-life lawyers are for.
Okay. But wait. What was the worst thing that happened? Like, what crossed the line?
Death threats.
Oh, shit. Who orchestrated the death
Oh,
threats? Are we
wow.
talking about, like, vampire hunters or something? Like, what's going on?
That... Other people in the vampire community The vampire community always wants to be like the next Don Henley or the next Father Todd Sebastian, or they want their 15 minutes of fame. And it's like, what? I'm hot, I'm young, I'm pretty. I deserve to be more famous than you. And it's like, guys, that's a lot of work. Pretty will get you in the door, but and talent will keep you there. But at the end of the day, it's work. It's like any other job. You want it, you just got to work for it. And some people get really ugly and they get really jealous and they run their mouths. And most of the time, the death threats are you just let it roll off of you. But when it's credible, that's when it's time to go to HPD, show it to your lawyer, document, and put it in the file of in case something happens to me. Show this to the DA.
Whoa, okay. Now I'm really curious. Who's doing the death threats? I mean, I know you don't want to say names, but I mean, are we talking about like vampires and people on the outside?
Other vampires.
Other vampires.
Other
Okay.
vampires. It's mostly a jealousy issue.
Oh man.
Wow.
See, now that would be interesting.
That's scary.
It is very scary. because obviously it's very easy for mental illness to creep in. Like,
Right.
you know, okay, I'm a vampire. Oh, what does that mean? Well, that means my vampirism and $7, mostly the $7, will get me a Venti PSL at Starbucks. But for some people who really think they are immortal, that they're 3,000 years old, that they have to actually violate consent and be a monster and be a predator and basically on some level may allegedly suffer from some type of psychiatric disorder that pushes them to commit acts of criminality.
Yeah.
That's a big red flag. And I probably turn away like 15 people a day from our vampire groups online because they go, I am immortal. I am a member of the Illuminati. Oh, we are vampires of Satan and we are ready to strike back. Oh, we are an ancient order of knights and you are a fraud and fake and we're going to do this, that, and the other. And I'm like, oh, Lord, someone is off their meds.
Oh my
Oh
gosh.
man. So okay, that's interesting because one of the questions I have is, well, you guys say you're vampires, but aren't you guys just a little bit crazy?
There's a lot of imagery and dramaturgy. In other words, a lot of real vampires that don't take it over the edge. Yes, we cultivate our image. And we do that because, well, if you wear a pair of jeans and a polo shirt and sneakers, and you're trying to get an emotional response to feed off a person's energy, not gonna happen. You look like because there's nothing there. I mean, but when you are in like the steampunk lordly outfit, or you're wearing the goth outfit, and there's something in your personality, your alter ego, the higher part of yourself is being manifested. You're creating your own image. So when you present that to the world and there's that emotion, that response, it generates that emotional energy, that little twinge of chi, of power that radiates off of a person. So for some, it's like, no, I have to dress this way because it's me. And it's like, no. But for a lot of real vampires, they're all tools of the trade. The fangs, the color contacts. They shape and cultivate image so we can get the best sort of feed possible.
Makes
Okay.
sense.
Okay, and it sounds like you guys definitely have a process to vet out those that are just in it. They're maybe a little too crazy because everyone's a little crazy, you know.
Everyone's
Yeah.
a little crazy, and that's the whole thing. Everyone that is a creative suffers a little bit of fantasy prone because there's no way we can sit there and disassociate ourselves for hours and hours and hours and create fantasy worlds, even if it's to sell it, to market it, to write, to create. So I have never met a creative, including myself, that can get lost in their own head.
Okay.
But
Right.
every successful writer and artist and online persona and journalist I've ever met, they go, yeah, there are just times I just shut the world off and here's my fantasy world and I'm in front of the typewriter or the computer or pen and paper or whatever floats your boat. And they just they just channel it. They know how to use that. The scary ones are when they can't come back to reality.
Right.
And it's those that we have to weed out because of the safety of people.
Yeah, I can imagine so. And that's one of the questions too. Is like, aren't you guys just human beings just cosplaying as vampires? I mean,
Vampirism is real vampirism is a set of theories. So there's no way to prove it. I mean, I'm not immortal. I don't turn into a bat. Real vampirism is, there is something in my makeup that I was born with that I need a certain type of energy produced by other beings to balance out my health. So something in me requires a little bit of something extra that I just can't manifest on my own. So each real vampire has to sort of find out for themselves, okay, what energy am I missing and how do I cure that? And it's not always what you think. I know a lot of vampires that are just like, oh God, if I don't go fishing every 3 weeks, and it's not just depression or moody or God, I just really want to go fishing. It'll be like, why am I not sleeping? Or why am I not breathing right? Or why is my immune system shot?
Yeah.
And so, and that's really sort of the bottom line, is whatever energy is calling to you that makes not, and it's not just makes you happy, because people get depressed. I mean, winter blues, or being overworked, or burnout, or needing a vacation. The difference between a vampire needing to feed and then a person needing a vacation is, a person will get depressed and moody. A vampire will see their health start to deteriorate. And that's sort of like, being a vampire really does sort of suck. Because it's like, we can't stop life necessarily all the time to go feed.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just like, okay, look, this is going to be some suck before I can get to a nightclub. Or I live in the city, I have to schedule things to go fishing. Or, you know what, my jam is communing with the desert, or whatever it is.
Okay.
So a lot of people that are like, well, I'm just a nature lover, I'm not a vampire. Or, no, it's just that the city makes me sick and I need to go visit my grandparents' house out in the country. Yeah. And you know what? And it could be completely psychosomatic. I mean, because again, these are theories based off of traditional Chinese medicine, off of yin and yang and energy theory, where we have a physical body, but we have an energy body. And if you ignore one, it affects the other.
Okay.
Sort of like that whole concept of above and below.
Okay.
Sort of heaven and
earth
working with each other.
Okay. That makes sense. It makes sense. And that's a pretty good answer. So you do kind of acknowledge that it is, well, you can't necessarily prove it, but it's kind of like, you believe it, kind of like a faith in, let's say, any religion.
Yeah. You can't prove philosophy. You can't prove faith. Now, there's no vampire god per se, even though there are some people who are very spiritual in their vampirism. So I'm not here to bash anyone's faith. Many of us are pagans. We grew up a little bit different, or we evolved a little bit different. So like any other philosophy, if it's important to you, you sort of make it fit in different aspects of your life. But a lot of vampires are Christian. A lot of vampires are Buddhist, and Buddhists are not a religion per se. It's a philosophy.
Well, actually, a lot of Christians, pretty much all Christians are vampires in a way. I mean, they're drinking the blood of Jesus. I mean, what is that? What is that?
But it is symbolically a vampire. It's spiritual cannibalism. They see blood as a sign of power, so they want to consume it. It is their way of bringing Yeshua, Yamashia, the name of Christ, Emmanuel, the physical manifestation of God upon earth, into themselves to connect their spirit to a higher power. Sort of like, as I said, you have the concept of heaven and earth, above and below. So they're trying to bring God within them, sort of an invocation.
No, I never thought of that. That's pretty interesting.
So there's different ways to see the Holy Communion. It depends on one's point of view and how accepting people are of religion.
Right. Interesting. Last time you were on, Becky had to run away because she was afraid of vampires, but she's here now. And Becky,
yay! Hi.
You have any questions? Bye. You got some questions for the king of the Houston Vampires? It sounds like a baseball team.
Oh no!
That would be so awesome. Nighttime. Oh, that would be great. So technically, the vampire bat boys. Vampire bats.
Vampire bad boys.
That's good. I like him. Can we keep him?
Well, one of us is going to have to be a donor. One of us will have to be a donor, and I don't think he wants my blood. Not with his NyQuil stuff in me.
Well, but you have to have a donor for your team, just to cover all bases.
I'm in trouble, aren't I?
If you want me to stop before I strike out, I completely understand.
No. Yeah, I do have lots of questions. How long have you known that you're a vampire?
Since I was 13.
Oh wow.
Long time ago in the twilight era of the 80s.
Yeah, that's my era too. So
The 80s were weird.
yes.
Because at one point it was like we had all these computers, we had all these books, but yet they never said anything because everything was just really getting started. So everyone was thinking, oh, well, you always had the internet. No. Oh, well, you always had mass publication. No.
Nope.
Nope. So when people were going, well, how didn't you know? And it was like, because it didn't exist in that realm of reality.
Right. Yeah, I had a friend of mine not long ago tell somebody, yeah, when we were in high school, the internet wasn't around, and I was like, I just looked at him, I was like, oh, shut up. I was like, that is not even funny. Do you know how old that makes us sound?
Oh, yeah. But it's okay. Okay.
I'll say, like, yeah, when I was in high school, it was a little bit different because the internet was there. There was like AOL or whatever, and I was definitely playing online video games, talking shit on AOL. I was like, what, like middle school then? Going to high school? Man, I was just trolling.
Oh.
I began my life as a troll then and there.
Mm-hmm.
I remember AOL. I remember, what was it? Polar Radius? No, Neverwinter Nights. The first really interactive online game. So I remember AOL. I remember those chat rooms. I remember those boards. Some of the earliest, where was it? CompuServe started having a few online public boards. And I say CompuServe. Yes, I know BBS has existed before then. I fully acknowledge the realm of BBS, but unless you had the number and you were sort of like in the in crowd, it was not accessible knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
But CompuServe sort of got on the occult bandwagon right towards its end, and then AOL 3.0, when it came along, and it created chat rooms where you can share GIFs and JPEGs and convert music through a amplifier into your computer and record it as WAV files, and then you can send them. Just revolutionized everything. And that's how a lot of online communities got their start.
Right. Yeah, I remember when, and see, my dad taught at a local high school, and he taught math and computer programming. I remember when the motherboard was in a room by itself, and it was climate controlled, and the crazy thing the computer would call our house and notify us if the temperature went up 5 degrees or down 5 degrees.
Oh my goodness. Okay. I came a little bit after that, but I remember seeing all setups like that. If the rooms would superheat.
Yeah.
And it would fry tens of thousands of dollars of equipment.
Oh yeah. And everything was, it was a mainframe, and you had to log on to the, I was a kid then, but I mean.
Right. Right, they had little terminals, and you had
they were just keyboards with legs,
and everything. And they didn't have hard drives; they had tapes.
Right.
And they had like tape piles, so the tapes would be programmed with different programs and different functions, and they would spin, they would stop, they would spin, they would stop, and you'd have all this electromagnetic tape all over the place.
Yep. Yeah. Oh yeah, I remember that.
Oh, those were the days. Now we have full recording and video studios and computers wireless in the palm of our hands.
Right.
That is terrifying, that level of tech and progression.
Yeah, I keep saying that one of these days when technology fails, we're all going to be screwed.
I get so much flack from some of my younger vampires for writing things and journaling, and it's like, well, why isn't all online? You need to have more online. I need more online presence, right? But that's the whole thing. If I've had backups crash, I've had websites hacked, And
Right.
if you're not highly careful with archiving data, it can get lost.
Yeah. Lost and
then you lose everything.
yeah.
Well, remember, I mean, like, for example, I mean, we all love YouTube, but it went down.
Yep.
So
Oh,
can
yeah.
you imagine? So with everything that's going on in the world, could you imagine if YouTube servers just went, hey, guys, we lost 30% of everything ever done on YouTube, and there's no
Oh
back.
my Lord.
Can you imagine what even such a small percentage of loss would do to the virtual economy?
All right.
Well, that's why some competitors need to step in. Really need to step in. You know?
Yeah. Well,
Uh,
it happened with MySpace when we did the transition, and all of a sudden people realized they couldn't go back, and they lost an entire decade of their life. And now Facebook is constantly crashing and purging pages and doing their censorship junk. So something that was designed to be long-term and permanent, I went back to old school. It's like, no, it's like all my data, unless you pay for it, it's not yours.
yeah.
Right.
So it's like vampires. If you are listening, if you're a group and you're getting started, pay the $15 a month, archive your stuff, because that way you don't ever have to worry about losing it.
That's right. That's right.
That's scary.
All right. What about some you got a vampire question, Becky?
Well, he answered a lot of it when I asked him how long he'd been a vampire.
Mhm.
Have you ever wished that you weren't a vampire?
Oh, jeez. There, a lot of times. From 80, I would say from 86 to about 92, 93, being different, standing away from the crowd, not feeling yourself. Psychologists call it imposter syndrome, where you don't feel like you're you. And you're just walking sort of disassociated in your own body, not really understanding your drives, what's making you tick. And it led me to my exploration of my spirituality, my sexuality, and just hunting for resources that just honestly did not exist then. You know, you can't, it's not like you could go into an occult bookstore and go, what are your books on vampires?
Yeah.
And then,
Right.
and then it's delivered at your home discreetly by Amazon.
Right.
So, you know, and it's not like we had podcasts. It wasn't even like we had YouTube. Hell, it wasn't even like we had MySpace. I think Live Friendster and then LiveJournal started really taking the anxiety out. It was like, I feel this way. Well, I feel this way.
Yeah.
Well, this is how I work. Well, this is how I work. Wait a second. There are people out there like me. It's just not one lone, isolated kid trying to find his place in the world. So for a while, when first starting out, especially in the South, because Houston was not always this open and accepting. But then the 90s hit, and technology hit, and social interaction hit, and the community within Houston changed as far as the gothic culture and the club culture and the occult culture. And then all of a sudden, boom, there was just this massive, beautiful explosion around 92. Yeah,
Makes sense.
it was just a sea change, and it made Houston what it is today.
Yeah, someone who's lived in this town for a while. It's or a suburb of that town. Yeah, that's true. But in my perspective, I mean, there were a lot of goths in high school, you know, and I was like, oh, that's cool. That's cool. You know, people were into like Misfits and things like that. Typo negative. Oh, by the way, we got a question, got a donation, anonymous.
Ooh.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
The question is, who would you like to suck?
Oh my.
That's kind of loaded.
Yeah, the question is, who would you like to suck?
Ooh. I'm gonna stay in the safe zone. So
Okay.
I will consider this my. You know how every person has. Well, I would never do anything to anyone, but if I was ever trapped in an elevator with a celebrity, so I'll phrase it like that.
Okay.
So, um, I would really have to say, of course, fully because it's like if I was trapped in the elevator and she was absolutely willing to be nommed upon, I would say Kate Beckinsale.
Ooh, all right. Yeah. Yeah, I would agree too. I would agree.
Yes.
100%. Be like, well, there's a way. There's an angle with her. Be like, hey, you play a vampire. Would you like to be a vampire in real life?
Mm.
Now she
Here,
might
let me
think
help you.
she might think you're joking though. She might think, that's funny. Got another creepy underworld fan over here. Be like, no, I mean it. I mean it. Like, check out these teeth.
Grr, R.
Yeah, I'm a real vampire.
What do people think about your teeth when you're out in public?
My teeth were custom created by a professional fangsmith. So at first they don't stand out because they're not bright white.
Right.
So when my teeth were first created, what I did was I had a deep cleaning done on my mouth to try to get the actual natural color what they are. So then when I put my fangs in, they sort of all had that off bone look.
Uh-huh.
And then I stained my mouth with teas and coffees, just things I normally drink. So my fangs have a natural coloration to the rest of my teeth. So unless I really flash my fangs, most people don't know I'm even wearing them. So when I do pop them, it's that sort of jump shock value.
Oh. Like, for instance, did you have your fangs in at the Scary Dad thing?
Mm-hmm. All day long.
I didn't even notice. I didn't even notice, man.
With good things, and you pay for them because they are special effects makeup. But yeah, good things, you can talk in them, drink in them. I don't advise eating in them because that constant vibration will eventually crack, and you're just going to waste a lot of money.
Okay, now I have to ask this. So when you suck blood, when you drink blood, I should say. Yeah, suck is,
Yeah.
That's an interesting verb. When you're sucking blood.
Yeah.
Are you using the fangs?
No. Mm-mm. Never use prosthetic fangs to drink blood. Yes, I know people do it. It's like, but they're sharp and they're hard and I can pierce skin. But I don't like actually biting to draw blood because there's so much bacteria and viruses within the human mouth.
Mm-hmm.
It is just a minefield of disease. You know, we are designed with the saliva and the immune system that all those horrible things in the mouth allows us to break down food, start the digestive process. Well, I don't want to digest anyone, in real life in that particular way. So when I consume blood, I use a disposable single-use scalpel. You can find them so inexpensively on Amazon. Thank you, Amazon. A good, clean slice across the shoulder blade, because that is one of the safest places along the back, along the scapula.
Okay.
And I usually draw the blood from there.
Okay, in which there was a question submitted by Gary Buller earlier when this stream was announced. The question was about: Are you worried about? I mean, are you worried about diseases like AIDS and things like that, hepatitis?
Yes. I like to stay drinking like this. Drinking blood is that if you drink someone's blood, it's unprotected sex. So, unless you are willing to bareback a person, because you know absolutely 100% they're without disease, and you're in a enclosed relationship, go for it.
Yeah.
Cool. But outside of that, you got to screen people. You got to ask for recent blood test within, because that's the only way to be safe. Because all it takes is one mistake, and then you're done.
Right.
Oh man. Well, that's good. You got to be safe. Safety first, you know.
Safety first, beyond anything.
And that's the whole Boy Scout motto right there. Safety first. Although I don't know if they're talking about vampirism or drinking blood. Safety first.
But with everything going on in today's modern society, getting screened for STDs should be a regular occurrence. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you're in the dating world, like a married man who has no interest in all that tomfoolery, playing around shit. To me, it looks like one giant orgy. I have no idea what the people are doing these days. It looks like one giant fuck fest. It actually looks like a mixture. One giant fuck fest with a hashtag Me Too going around. So I'm just like, I have no idea what the fuck is going on. If I was single, I would be tested every time. I would have a blood test by my bed or something. Like, no, I gotta see if you're clean. I can't trust you. Can't trust you. Can't listen and believe. I don't know. I don't even know if you're on the pill.
Oh, well, even beyond that, I mean, once you learn how viruses are spread, even if you have outer course, sort of like drinking blood, that's sort of sexual outer course. It is a type of kink. Yes, we're doing it for feeding. Yes, it has a spiritual nature, but when you're with someone that you're that intimate with, there's going to be sexual tension involved. So what people don't realize is anytime that you touch bodily fluid, blood, saliva, sexual fluids, everything that is in that fluid is also on your hands.
Oh, wow.
So let's say you do everything completely above board. You have two consensual people and you're just fooling around. And everyone has a great time. And everyone's happy. Well, it's like, oh, I have something in my eye, and you just instinctively like going, geez, and you go to wipe your face. Well, let's say, for example, that fluid on your hand, it has eye contact. If that fluid has disease, now that disease is located within the tissue of your eyes, for example.
Yeah.
So you can have someone who is a virgin. You can have someone that was just fooling around, really never did anything, teenager being teenager, but not stepping over boundaries, and they go, you have herpes or you have gonorrhea, and it's located in your eyes because when you were playing with your boyfriend and girlfriend and went to wipe your face, it transmitted to the next open area, which is that particular tissue.
You seem pretty well, informed on this. Might I ask what your day job is?
I'm in the medical profession.
Okay.
I was gonna ask.
Oh wait, I asked this before, and I probably made a joke about you having access to blood banks and shit.
That is a big no because cold and coagulated blood just sucks.
Ew.
And two, that would be theft from a medical facility. So I prefer mine warm and healthy and non-processed.
Non-processed. Right. Okay.
I like it from the tap.
So do you wear your fangs at work? Ooh, from the tap.
I love it.
Ooh. No. I am like the most boring person in my day job, in my day life. About the most things I will do is like I will wear Nightmare Before Christmas scrubs and my hair. Because, my hair is my hair. And luckily, being in a more privatized portion of the healthcare field, I can get away with a lot. So it's like I can come in my Nightmare Before Christmas scrubs or my giant pink panda scrubs or my blazing orange pumpkin scrubs. And everyone's like, it's Vok.
Okay. So I have to ask, where, since you don't really, this question is like, are there certain areas, certain like taboo or naughty areas that you would, drink blood from? I mean, we're kind of like towards. Yeah, I think that's a good question.
Are there areas I would drink blood from? That are taboo with a lover. In other words, have I engaged in very kinky, consensual BDSM style sex with lovers? Yes.
Yeah. Oh shit.
Have I
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. You talking about like?
You've got Jesse's attention.
You talking about like? Hold on, let me describe it. You talking going down on someone or something and a dig gets bit or something? Like what are we talking about here?
Gangliophobia, the eroticism from getting bit.
Oh shit. Okay. All right.
There is a type of dominance and submission play called predator and prey, where the dominant person enjoys being the aggressor and the submissive person is acting sort of as prey. There's a lot of role playing about control and resistance. It's all consensual. It's all kinky fun among adults, and that's how it should be played out. But yeah, there is a sect of vampirism, a lot of vampire sexuality, vampire sutra, if you will, that enjoys that type of erotic role play.
Okay.
So to answer your question, have I bit in naughty places? Yes. Have I consumed blood from naughty places? Yes.
Okay. Oh, I got my answer. Look at that. Yes, you get. See, this is why people need to donate. If you're listening, donate to St. Jude, just $1, and submit your question. You know. Anyway.
I had someone ask me a question. They want to know, how old are you in vampires?
Well, as real vampires age as human beings, I am in my late 40s.
Okay.
So late 40s times 10. You got to make a vampire. I'm just messing.
Oh no. Actually, oh geez. Let's see. The Temple of Set came around first. Then I came after them. After some of their expatriates, I'd be a little bit older than 400 if we were going by vampire years.
So that's one thing. Some listeners of this, maybe later on when they're listening after the stream is over, will be like, wait a second. Is this guy legit? Is he really saying he's a vampire? Is this really happening? Because he's saying he's a vampire, but he's also saying that all these things we've seen and read about in the media about vampires isn't true.
Yeah, and it's absolutely true, because modern vampirism, what the public perceives as vampires, to all the love to the Stoker family, especially to Darcy Stoker, who is taking over his family's writing and expanding the Dracula mythos. Bram Stoker took Vlad Tepes.
Right.
And said, well, he's the son of the dragon. No, that was his dad. So he got that mixed up to begin with. Then it was like, well, there is a folklore about Vlad Tepes, the man that we call Dracula, that he staked his enemies, which was very common. That was not just him. I mean, there were still crucifixions, there were stakings, beheadings, disembowelment.
Yeah. I mean, they were barbaric.
That region of the world and that time period was just barbarism. So what he did was not out of the norm. Where the rumor came in was Vlad would drink the blood of his enemies while they were being impaled. And that was just a rumor. So Vlad Tepes, Count Dracula, as we call him, being a vampire, is based only on that one small rumor.
Okay.
The concept of a vampire being slain by a stake through the heart was a play on the method of execution, the impalement. So where does vampires come from? Vampirism was large in that area of Europe because of a noblewoman named Elizabeth Bathory.
Oh, yeah, she's famous. Yeah.
Right. Who would lure women in, have one of the earliest Western European accounts of lesbian-style sex with her handmaidens, would bring them into the bathing chamber, engage in them carnally, and then proceed to slit their throats and drink the blood. Well, not just drink it, but also bathe in it.
Yeah.
So because she was rich and because she was powerful, it was like they just walled her up, and she lived several years behind this wall, this brick wall, where they would just shove food underneath this little slot. So it was like, well, I can't sell lesbian vampires to a prudish Victorian England. That's way too scandalous. So we'll make him a man, and we'll have it where he's this monster, and he's a child of the devil. Oh, and he does all these cardinal acts, and he has 3 wives, but he's evil because he's evil incarnate. So Dracula came about as an early style penny dreadful that Bram was going to use to make some money because he was low in his career, combining the different mythos and repackaged it as the primal man, the Ubermach, if you will, taking what he wants, when he wants, how he wants. Very Victorian male, if you will, because the Victorian Empire, the sun does not set on England.
Yeah.
And when it was received at Bond, it was too scandalous. It was too out there. It would lead to moral decay, as it was called. So Dracula was a bust. It was too much. It shocked too many sensibilities. And it was like, oh. So it was like, oh my God, it's horrible and it's terrible. Well, that was until anyone who's a fan of vampirism knows the Italian film Nosferatu.
Right.
And then
good film.
Great film. But because of the similarities and the lawsuits, and it's like, well, if everyone else is making vampirism and now Carmilla is being released as a female vampire, everyone's emulating us. So that is when the Stoker estate decided to republish Dracula. They did a push on it, and it didn't hurt that Poe and Lovecraft in America rekindled the American Gothic horror film.
Yeah.
So they were like, oh, well, if these Yanks can sit there and think they could do horror when we wrote this a long time ago, let's do this. So, unfortunately, when people go, well, that's not real vampires, if it's like, if you actually study the literary culture and history, a lot of what we perceive as vampires, I mean, it's like Dracula walked around during the day. Dracula aged. Dracula was this feeble, aged being during the day and then turned into this lush lord at night. So, the whole... And
well, can you do that?
The whole thing, a lot of the mythos just came about later.
I wish you can have that power, though, at least.
Oh, I wish.
Do you I know you have to be cool. Like this feeble old man during the day, but be like this powerful guy at night. And that's just a metaphor for sex.
I think that has to do with my bar tab.
Oh, yeah.
I think that has to do with the amount on my bar tab about how powerful I feel sometimes.
Yeah, I understand that. Oh, man. So this is good, though. This is good information. Because, I mean, just from the history alone, Elizabeth is definitely, I would consider her a monster, definitely, but a vampire, possibly. I mean, she bathed in human blood.
She's the, early Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah. And
just complete sociopath. No feelings of human emotions whatsoever. She was a monster. Which is really funny because Dracula, going back to Dracula, and the difference Dracula was a hero. Dracula is still revered as the savior of his nation. He was a devout Christian. So it gets a little weird. I mean, I love Dracula. I have multiple volumes of Dracula. I've read Dracula in the Hungarian, German, Slavic. Well, in the Slavic and then in the German using translator programs.
Yeah.
And
Cool.
but in real life, he is a Christian martyred hero of the Orthodox Church for defending the realm against Islamic invaders. So they get so it's like, while that area of the world loves the tourism and the money, they get really testy when you start bashing their national figure.
Well, I bet.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that. But I never really thought about that. Dracula as a hero. He's a hero.
Yeah.
Huh. That's cool, though.
Yeah, I never thought about it that way either, but, you know, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, now I want to ask you something.
Yes.
Now this is a submitted. Wait, do we have any other submitted questions? Anything on Twitter, Facebook, or anything?
Not yet. Nope.
Oh man, that's kind of sad. Sorry. Come on, guys. Should have a much more advanced notice. I'm sorry, Michael. Hopefully some more donations will come in. Okay. Anyway.
Hopefully.
All right. Elvira. You know where I'm going to go with this, Becky?
Yes, I do.
Elvira, Morticia, and Lily. Who's the best out of those three?
Your pick. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay. I would have to say, it would be such a close call between Elvira and Morticia, because you're dealing with two strong, sexually empowered women. Mm-hmm. And I know Elvira has based her whole persona off of Miss Adams.
Yeah.
So I have nothing but respect for Elvira, but I have to go with the original. I have to go with Tish.
All right. Yeah, I can see that. Morticia.
Yep.
And she's definitely out of those three, she's definitely the more cold-hearted, you know?
You know, I won't say cold-hearted, the most confident.
Oh.
Yeah, she's a take no prisoners kind of gal.
Oh,
she wants what every person wants. She wants home, she wants family, she wants time at the Dark Crusade. She is your modern woman, you know, out to support her husband.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's good.
And she don't take no shit.
No.
My kind of gal.
Which one makes a better vampire?
Oh,
is there even
oh my goodness,
a challenge there?
Oh, it's Morticia. It's
yeah.
Morticia.
Yeah, there is no challenge there.
She is the quintessential female vampire.
I'm surprised you didn't, Jesse, that you didn't go with the Mary fucking kill.
Ah, that's my next one. All right. But yeah, so which one? Marry, fuck, or kill?
I think you do have to deal with Gomez with Morticia. So, I would say have a consensual rendezvous and thank them very nicely for their generosity, and leave the Adams mansion as quickly as possible.
Okay, well, there's the fuck. Well, what about the marry? Who'd you marry?
Yeah, which one would you marry?
Oh, if I had to marry one, it would definitely be Morticia. She would just kill all the enemies.
Oh.
I may eat them as stew later, but that's so Nick. We eat our enemies. They're not just words.
Yeah, there you go. It's okay.
We waste nothing.
I would do the same. I would marry Morticia because they seem to have money. That was the whole thing with the Addams family, was that they thought they had money, some fortune.
Ridiculously rich. Oh.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I'd marry Morticia, keep Elvira on the side. If I'm wording that as if I can do that. And I'm sorry, Lily, but you're gonna have to go.
Oh, poor Lily.
I know.
I know.
You have to choose one.
I know.
Lily would go. I'm sorry. Lily would just...
All right. Now, who makes the best Dracula? As far as all the people who've played Dracula, like, who makes the best one?
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Christopher Lee. You know, I know there have been so many great people playing Dracula, but Christopher Lee has such a presence. His raw magnetism on the and it never mattered how campy the role or how bad the writing. The fact that Christopher Lee would just, I am Dracula, you know, he just gave it everything with abandon. He didn't care. This was his role. He was going to take it seriously.
Yeah.
So I would really have to say him. Now, Gary Oldman, oh, geez.
Even better than Lugosi?
Yeah, that's the other one. That's the one you had to compare it to. Even better than him?
It's really hard, and this is why I say, because Bela Lugosi was a product of his time.
Yeah.
And he only had the range that the studios and the censors would allow.
Right.
And if it was a different, because if we remember Nosferatu and we look at the European films that didn't have the censorship, and you look at these silent masterpieces blowing the American talkies out of the water because of cinematography and not as many censorship issues, and you're going, this was horror and it was graphic, and look at the product at the time. And I just really think that Bela Lugosi did what he could with the restrictions placed upon him.
Mm.
But,
I agree with that.
But looking at the actor who could carry the full weight and magnitude of the persona of the fictional Dracula. I mean, yes, Gary Oldman played this beautiful, tragic figure. But with Christopher Lee, it was, I am a lord, and I am noble, and I am powerful, and no one can stop me, and you heroes are pathetic, and I will crush you. And it was just such a commanding presence every time that Christopher Lee would just be in front of the camera. So I would have to say Christopher Lee. Gary Oldman, I love you, but you sort of went into Lestat territory with, oh, I am so sad, my immortality, it's my bane. And it's like, you're immortal. You will never grow old, and you are never going to die. And you whine constantly. When did Dracula become Louis?
Yeah, I mean, that's one way they kind of portray him, is that he's seen so much, he's seen so much death. I mean, there's like, two ways you can go with that, seems like. You can have to where he is remorseful about it, regretting, and like emotional, like emo, like he just wants to slit his wrist or something.
It's like, my existence is pain, and that is one thing I can never understand about how they portray vampire psychology. Like, there is not one animal on the face of the planet that does not desire to have more power. The ability to get more mates, more wealth, more power, the ability to influence the world around them. That is the psychological imperative of all the hormones being pumped into us by the different glands in our body.
Yeah.
So you had a being that was truly immortal, that had preternatural abilities that we cannot explain. It'd be like, so let me understand this gig. I am forever young. I am supernaturally powerful. I can attract any member of any sexual orientation that I want. I can put a few bucks in the bank. A few centuries later, I get millions of dollars of compounding interest. I never have to work a day in my life. But yet every single vampire is this whiny, little, forlorn bitch, pretty person going, my life is pain. Dude, you're immortal. You're wealthy beyond compare. You can have anyone that you want.
Right.
Yeah, it's kind of like Anne Rice really showed the two sides, right? You have like Lestat, who's like, I'm powerful. Fuck you guys.
Yeah.
And then you have Louis, who's like, ooh, I don't want to be a vampire. Ooh, I don't even want to suck blood. Ooh, it's like, get over yourself.
You know,
Right.
and you bring up a very good point. I mean, when Anne Rice has been repeatedly interviewed, the interview of the person who wrote The Vampire, if you will, and she talks about how she was writing vampires, and it was all going to be about Louis as a metaphor for death. And she wrote it as like Louis came in this beautiful black and white block print, like an old printing press churning out words in her head. And so everything was Louis and his pain and his suffering and what it is to live forever and watch everything around you die. And then all of a sudden, these flashes of color that was Lestat just would not shut up, going, well, you shut up about how bad it is. I'm immortal and I am beautiful and I have sex with the most beautiful, powerful people on the planet and I drink from God and I play with the devil. And as she said, Lestat would not shut up and he exploded in a black and white world of death in full blazing color.
That makes sense. That's a good way to put it.
So, so it's like, but you have those two paradigms. I mean, you have the Lost Boys, where you have the whole Kiefer Sutherland Lestat motif of we're young and we're beautiful and we're gonna party, let's do this. But then you have the Louis and the Vampire Diaries and just my life and Twilight. My life is in this pain and suffering, and even though I am immortal and centuries old, I must hang around high schools for prepubescent underage girls so I can emotionally abuse them because after centuries I am still a manipulative bastard that likes to abuse underage girls and manipulate them. Great Stockholm Syndrome.
That's why I have to say Twilight is the best, the most definitive vampire thing out there, right? Can we all agree that Twilight is the example of the best way to execute vampire mythos?
We have a bad connection. What is this?
The only thing that can make Twilight better if they glittered more. They need more glittering.
With flamethrowers, right? Flamethrowers.
Jesse, have you taken one too many shots, darling?
Okay, no. You know what they need? I'm serious. If they have all the cast from Twilight, and Blade just shows up with the flamethrower. And makes little quippy lines about them glittering, and he's here to help.
Oh. Okay. Honestly, like when I was rewatching Blade again, I was like, first I was dreading. I was like, is this gonna hold up? Because you know it's a '90s film. But I was watching it. I was like, holy fuck, this movie holds up. The only thing that doesn't is what didn't hold up then was the crappy CG that they had at the end. But all the practical effects and the badass fighting and how Blade just shoots with a shotgun.
The firework.
Oh, man.
Blade is going to be a classic because he relied so much on practical effects.
Even Blade 2. Like, I didn't watch Blade 2 in theaters. I rented it. I was like, oh, okay, this is interesting. But the whole scene was like running and shooting at the same time on the motorcycles. I was like, fucking shit, man. This guy's a badass.
Yeah.
He's taking these people out. But if you have Blade step into Twilight, I think those Blade kids are the Twilight kids will shit their pants.
Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah.
Or even just have Lestat show up and go, oh my god, I'm in a world of Louis, and he just starts ending them. Grabs a scythe.
Yeah.
Pops Antonio Banderas and decides to purge the worlds of whiny little vampires.
There you go. Yeah.
Yep.
But the most horrible thing about Twilight is like, oh, I am special and you are not, but only by me can you be made special. So I am going to manipulate you. I'm going to make you Stockholm Syndrome. I'm going to stalk you. I'm going to literally play with someone underage. And I'm like, oh my God, can we just write anything, any more abusive Stockholm Syndrome dribble?
Yeah,
he loves me because he wants to control everything that I do.
And
I'm like,
what's crazy about that is that these teenage girls, they eat it up. It's like this Twilight was promoting all the things that the certain feminists say they don't want in media anymore, but yet the ladies, the little girls, are eating it up left and right. It was pretty much encouraging, showing you need a boyfriend. Not only that, but you need a boy. You need to like put everything and invest all into a boyfriend, not just any boyfriend, but one that's gonna pretty much play emotional games with you and say and lie about his age and manipulate you against your family and all this. It's like, oh man.
And we have to screen so much of that crap out of the actual real life community. Because one of the things that I'm asked, and I will pose my own question here, and it's like, how do I feel about the role-playing aspects in real life? So it's like we get people who have played Vampire the Masquerade, who've seen the Underworld movies. They've seen True Blood, they've seen Twilight, and they see how some of the popular characters act. And I'm going, guys, these things are great fiction, but in the real world, you got to have consent. And if you think that you can act with all these consent violations, I'm not even talking the legalities. I'm just talking, let's be honest, a lot of the popular characters, we like them because they're bastards and they act like douches. In the real world, no one wants to be touched and grabbed and poked and stalked and just to be made miserable. So we've had to kick a lot of people out of the our groups because they just could not get a clue that there's a difference between that fantasy and reality.
Oh man, talk about. I mean, you're just gonna have to kick everybody out. I mean, who's
actually
doing this?
No. I mean, we have a really great core group of people, of mature, practical adults that go, "Hey, we're vampires, but we know how to behave ourselves."
There you go. Okay.
But we have the younger under 30 type that grew up with Twilight, so they sort of ingrained going, well, if I want to be cool, this is how I act, and it's like, dude, you're a douche. No woman, no guy, no person in their right mind is going to tolerate this behavior.
He's just trying to emulate Edward, okay? He's just trying to be the best Edward he can be.
Well, that's really hard to be without the special effects budget and the glitter and the ripped abs, and it's like...
No, dude, he gets glue. He gets like glue, puts it all over his chest and gets some glitter, put it there. Gosh, look at me, baby, I'm glittering. Look at me.
I am beautiful, and I am sparkly. Die. Flamethrower.
I'll buy you some glitter, Michael.
This is when you just pray to the vampire gods. Wesley Snipes shows up with the flamethrower and just puts us all out of their misery.
Oh, speaking of Blade again, I think you alluded to this earlier, but no vampire god. But the interesting thing about the storyline there in Blade was that people would be like, "Oh, you're not a pure vampire. You're a fake. You're just turned." Are there really pure vampires in your community? Is there?
Real vampires are born. You either have that hunger at birth or you don't.
Wait. So you hunger for blood at birth? Just to make sure I'm hearing this.
You hunger for energy. And It's not at birth. It's usually like when you go through your first hormone cycle as a teenager, or whenever it is as your body starts to mature. That's when everything just really kicks in. And that's when people start really finding out that they're different, is at puberty. So, yay. But you cannot make someone a vampire. You cannot turn someone into a vampire. You cannot bite them and they become a vampire. You cannot slit your wrist, have them drink your blood, and instill mystical vampire communities. Oh, and for you young people that are listening, if you're not watching now and you're going to hear this podcast at 3 o'clock in the morning when your family's asleep or on the way to school and you're thinking, oh my God, I met like this dude at school and he says if I have sex with him, he'll turn me into a vampire and we'll be like together forever. No, sweetie, it doesn't work that way.
It doesn't work that way, yeah.
So I hate to tell you this, there are no magical little bits on any boy that will turn you into something that you're not already. So, don't
wait. So you mean if I let this guy bite me, he says he's a vampire, I'm not going to turn into a vampire?
Unfortunately not.
Son of a bitch! I should have known that earlier. Okay. Now, my other question is, since you work in a medical field, this bite, it looks real red. Like it's real red around the puncture marks. Should I get that checked?
I would sit there and say you need to go to an ER, and
you should get it checked.
Staph and strep infections that are in the neck affect the cranial nerves.
Well, this is in the neck. This is like
there are multiple.
Okay.
There are multiple cranial nerves in the neck. So let's look at the more serious things. If, let's say, for example, you have a little bit of alcohol and you're eating and you're at a party and you have debris in your mouth, and that debris starts to ferment, and that debris creates a nice little natural rotting effect in between teeth, like it does for every living process, and you decide to play vampire and bite someone, you have just injected the strep, and every little bit of bacteria in your mouth and in the rotting food as a delivery mechanism into the bloodstream.
Oh, no.
You've delivered it into the immediate tissues. Also, if you bite certain areas of the neck, that means certain lymph glands will be infected as well. If you are lucky, if you have an infection and you are lucky, you will only get sick, only have nausea, and only run a high-grade fever that will make you feel like death. If you are not so lucky, and one of your 11 cranial nerves are damaged, you can go blind, deaf, lose motor coordination, or it can cause a cardiovascular incident of different types and just shut down your heart and you will die.
So what I'm hearing is I should be fine. I don't need to go to the ER. Never mind the fact that
I think you can just Google your symptoms. You should be okay. Let's get some Bactine and a Band-Aid. And
the hell with the Bactine. You don't need that. Just rub some dirt on it. You'll be fine.
Yeah. I'll go all natural on this. Rub some dirt and mud on it.
Well, I guess if it's really serious, you could just splash some vodka on the neck. If you just need to clean.
Oh, he won't do that. He'll drink it.
Isn't that the same thing? It's going into the neck, kind of, sort of. I mean,
he's so difficult, Michael. What am I gonna do with him?
I don't know.
Is your life insurance policy up to date?
My wife.
And who's the beneficiary? Who's the beneficiary?
You know where the petty cash is kept.
I think the policy is updated. I think my wife.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Basis. There you go.
Can I have dibs on the publishing end of it?
Sure, you can have it all, and the debt that comes with it.
Oh shit! I want that end of it. Damn it!
You get it all. You get it all.
Oh man! Well, I thought you liked me.
All the IOUs and all the stacking high. All the people will be like, "Where's my money?" No, I'm just joking. Hey, hearing how bad and nasty people's bites are, I'm just thinking you don't need zombies. You could just have people just go rabbits or biting people left and right, and you have a,
Oh my God, that's
I will tell you this: if they actually taught old high school biology and health like they used to, where you don't have to go and get it in college for additional medical training about how diseases spread, and they took 5 minutes to research what a real zombie virus is, people will never step outside again without mask suits.
I say that too, and then I also say, if people explain to me where my food came from and how it was treated and what it was fed, I probably would eat vegetables out of the front yard.
I can handle eating meat. Well, I eat certain things. Obviously, I drink blood. Certain organs and things of that particular nature don't bother me. Pathology is fascinating, especially with the Walking Dead and zombies versus vampires and who would win and things like that. And it's like, the zombie virus started off as just this virus that would affect ants and termites, and the termites and ants would bite bugs, and all but kill the bug, just leaving enough of the prefrontal lobe for it to move, sort of like at the will of the virus, and then it would climb up deliberately onto a branch.
Oh, wait, so you're talking about the fungus, right? You're talking about the fungus?
The fungus.
Okay, yeah.
Right. But that fungus, they have found out now, if I remember the latest thing I read, has actually jumped species into birds.
So we're now have, like, birds attacking each other?
No, they wouldn't have birds attack each other. They would have birds with the zombie spores growing out of their back and fly around with it now.
Sweet. I can't wait.
Oh,
so it's
I want to see that future. I want to see that future. I want to see what happens. I want it live streamed on Facebook. Well,
actually, you really don't. I mean, look at what's happening now with all the anti-vaxxers, and now you have diseases that are coming back. You have the Arctic crust starting to crack. So what's ever been trapped in gases and dead animals and those proteins are now starting to come out of the permafrost.
Mm-hmm.
Man.
So all it's going to take is one compromised immune system where one human gets the zombie virus because it's a plant, and they don't recognize it, and they take antibacterials. They take because there is no antivirus. Antivirals are made in the human body through exposure. So I can imagine one human getting infected and getting sick. So they give them broad spectrum antibiotics, and people do what they always do. They stop taking them early, leaving just enough of the life form to go into the cells and create what is called an L form, a plant animal hybrid cell. And it just starts, and you just have patient zero that is not an actual zombie. They are just a carrier that I'm going into work, I'm going into school, and just spreads that little thing all day long.
Oh man! And then the question I have right now is a zombie kind of like how it's portrayed in the media, or is it something different, kind of like vampires? I mean, are we doing with like a Walking Dead? Or are we doing with just like a 28 days later like rabid guy?
You'd be doing 28 days later because the human body would actually just crumble under all that stress and strain. I mean, a cadaver is going to sit there and go into full rigor within hours. So you would have a 28 days later, highly adrenaline, and a zombie wouldn't be dead. Enough of the brain would be gone. It'd be more like a person on LSD or crack, where the prefrontal lobe and rational thinking, it's gone, and it's all Abdullah Amagala, and all the adrenal glands of the kidneys would just be in overdrive. So you would have a 200-pound person literally on natural steroids with no pain reflex, who would just hit and hit and hit until there was no human function left in that limb.
Wow. Holy
because this is something a lot of medical will not talk about, but when you're getting people on drugs and they have no prefrontal cognitive ability, and they just come at you, you can have a person who is 98 pounds but with no prefrontal recognition to recognize pain. Imagine a person just hitting you at full force, not caring if they break their hand or any moral restraint. And no matter what you do, they just keep coming at you. It's just flight or flight. That's a zombie.
Yeah.
And we see it and medical staff sees it every single day. Police see it every single day.
Oh, man.
EMTs see it every single day.
And you can see it on YouTube too. You can YouTube.
Yeah. I mean, every single person that's ever been at a crime scene or dealt with someone on drugs, when they're high and there's a perceived threat, it's like shoot them, tase them, doesn't matter. The brain's gone. It's just a body. So if you have a disease doing that, oh sure, a real zombie would deteriorate within a few days. But can you imagine, like, say, the city of Houston going crazy?
Oh man.
Let's just say the whole greater Houston area. That whatever happens. Say the whole ship channel gets contaminated and it gets up to Huntsville. That's 10 million people. Can you imagine a million crackhead type zombies?
Just quarantine the whole thing. Just lock it down.
Yeah.
Shut down 45, shut down 610, shut down the Beltway, shut it all down.
Yeah.
Shut it all down to napalm.
Yeah.
Napalm, just nape it all down.
Could you just imagine? And yes, they would die, but then they would spore, and then the spores would get airborne, and then it would just constantly.
Just now it sounds like Halo. That sounds like Halo dealing with the flood. Just burn it all down.
Yeah, but when you say, here's the scary thing. It's like, I know people's like, if vampires really exist with all these powers, it'd be terrifying. Look at what could actually make a human being into a zombie. All it would take is one, like you were saying about being bit in the neck, and those cranial nerves getting infected. Well, if a virus actually affected certain cranial nerves where certain parts of the body, the ability to feel and receive pain, and the ability to rationally function were to go, then you would have an effective zombie.
You would.
By the millions.
That's
Holy
scary.
hell. Maybe.
And that's real. And that's the terrifying part. This is real. There's enough drugs and diseases out there that can mimic that in an outbreak.
Maybe that should be the next stream later on down the road in the future. Real life zombie stream. What it would take to make a real life zombie scenario. Get you on, because you seem to have a lot of medical knowledge. Get some other people on as well. We'll have a panel. But for that one.
Yeah, that would be cool.
The terrifying part? You know what it would take for an airplane ride?
An airplane
ride from a third world country that's a major hub.
That's why that's why you just got to shut all that down. No, no more planes to any third world country.
Or even worse, can you imagine? We don't understand this, but in China, there are cities the size of Houston that have the population of 10 million people. Imagine Houston with 5 times 10, almost 4 to 5 times this number. All it takes is a group of unvaccinated people getting overwhelmed by viruses. They get treated, but the virus still lives within them. In other words, the RNA is there, but the DNA for the resequencing gets stopped. So the cells sit there and they look at that RNA sequence, infects it with cellular DNA, goes through cellular mitosis, and starts self-replicating without killing its host. Then that person goes to their family, they go to their family, and eventually they go to work for said business people. These business people, being upwardly mobile, travel the world. And then all of a sudden, within a matter of hours, what started in one small part of the world starts to mutate.
Man.
Because that's how cancer starts started. It starts as a virus. Cells start to mutate. They start self-replicating that mutation, and it keeps growing. So that's what an antiviral is. It tries to kill the mutated cells before they even get started. So how can a zombie virus spread? Same way as Ebola, same way as flesh-eating bacteria, same way as multiple types of flesh-eating bacteria that target very specific areas. Or even more terrifying, flesh-eating bacteria that only targets neural tissue because they have less white blood cells to counteract them, leaving you paralyzed and bleeding from the inside out with the inability to move, creating a living corpse. Living corpse syndrome. All the nerves in the body get eaten, leaving you consciously aware, trapped in a rotting body. Zombies without ability to move.
Man, this is a good teaser.
World War Z, for all its issues, is a pretty damn close drama about what would happen if we had a viral outbreak.
Okay, all right. Man, hey Becky, any more questions?
Nope, not yet.
Okay, we also haven't received any other donations either. Okay. Man,
I'm gonna give some people hell about this.
Yeah, same here. I mean, I don't even want to say it. It's kind of sad. We raised $6 for St. Jude. Well, there's $6 for it. That won't even cover a Band-Aid. Thank you, guys. We'll do it better next time. Holy hell, man! Holy hell! That's there's a Band-Aid for a cancer kid. Kid with cancer.
Jeez.
How about if can we take donations through the end of the month?
We can. I mean, the link will be open. The link will still be open until I don't think it ends anytime soon. So they can still donate.
Okay.
They just have to watch and hit the link, which could happen. That could definitely happen. Some good questions were asked. We had a pretty good conversation about vampires. I feel like it was pretty informative.
I learned a lot.
Thank you guys for having me on. I really appreciate it. Anytime.
Thank you.
It's no problem, Michael. Anytime.
And thanks for adding me to your group on Facebook.
Oh, a pleasure. And I look forward to seeing you guys at all the different cons coming up.
Oh, yes.
I got to do that too. Oh, and I haven't plugged your incense stuff yet because I haven't really used it because I don't have I don't have like an incense tray. But
right.
But do you want to plug
Stick
that real
in a
fast?
potted plant.
Yes. You can find me on Etsy at Vampire Vokmel.
Okay.
Ooh.
And what Becky, you said I could just use a potted plant?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Stick the
Sand.
incense in a potted plant or sand, or get you a bowl full of dirt and stick it down in there.
Okay. Yeah, that would work. Okay, I'll do that. I'll try to do that. So that way I can have the smell near the computer. And I'll be like, all right. I don't know.
I'll tell you what. Send me your address. I'll send you some free samples to show off online.
Oh, man, that'd be awesome. That'd be awesome.
See? Cool.
Yeah, you guys send me your address. I'll be more than happy to send you some test samples.
Thank
Try
you.
it before you buy it.
All right,
yeah.
all right. Well, Mr. Vokmel, it was great having you on. You take it easy. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday.
You too. Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you.